Hey, everybody. Hey, welcome to this episode of Movies Merica Spoiler Warning. And let's get this party started here as I get my ducks in a row here on my side. So I got mysterious screens like deciding to turn volume on me over here. So, but no, you guys don't care about that. Okay, that's too much about, how the sausage is made, too much inside baseball about Movies Merica Spoiler Warning. But welcome to this episode. It's a The Abyss episode of Movies Merica Spoiler Warning. And we're going to get into this retro discussion all about this classic James Cameron movie. And now I know the movie is 35 years old, so all the more reason for us to get all spoilery up in here tonight, okay? But I don't want to just be talking to myself about The Abyss. I want to talk to you, okay? I want to hear you in the live chat, asking me questions, comments, whatever, who's your favorite character? Did you hate this movie? Whatnot, just anything about The Abyss or any movie for that matter, or anything, really, okay? I mean, you have carte blanche up in my live chat here, okay? So, but before we get before I get too excited about this episode, we got things to attend to, and that means I need to give you something to dance to.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
Damn right. So yeah, as I always say here, and so like I was saying before, live chat, you can live chat with me through Rumble, through YouTube, through pilled.net. Now, if you live chat with me through pilled.net, you may get a little financial compensation a little bit later on, just to give you. So like they say, forewarned is forearmed, okay? But we're going to get into The Abyss right here. And one thing that I couldn't help but notice about The Abyss is no one yells quite like Ed Harris does in his movies, okay? So in The Abyss is a total example of that.
Well, for 1 second, please!
Yeah, that's my man Ed Harris as Bud Brigman in The Abyss, okay? So, all right, so what to say about this movie here? Well, actually, first things first here, let me whet our appetites for The Abyss, okay? Because it may have been a while since you've seen this movie, okay? Now, if you're watching this episode, it may have been a while, okay, since you've seen this. And so let me give you a little reminder, okay, shall we? Here we go.
Nuclear submarine went down. Your company has authorized the Navy's use of this facility for a rescue.
My people are not qualified for this. We're oil workers.
Lieutenant Coffey will transfer it down to you with a SEAL team.
You'll do absolutely nothing without direct orders from me.
There is something down there. Something not us. Not human. Please, you have to trust me. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. We all see what we want to see. He sees hate and fear. You have to look with better eyes than that.
Yeah. So, hey, are you tantalized yet for the Abyss? All right. So, are you ready to rock and roll and talk for hours and hours and hours about this movie that unfortunately got its ass kicked in the movie theaters by more familiar properties like Batman and Ghostbusters 2 there in the summer of 1989. Okay. So, I mean, because, the Michael Keaton Batman came out this first summer, and that was the first Batman movie in forever. I mean, the previous Batman movie had been the one with Adam West and Burt Ward back in the 60s or 70s or something like that. And so when, the Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson Batman came out, it was this massive, massive phenomenon. And then Ghostbusters 2, obviously the sequel to the 1984 ghostly behemoth. And so the Abyss was like, everyone was like, okay, first off, I don't know what an abyss is because, we're dealing with the American public and they don't know what the abyss is. Like, that's not part of my vocabulary, okay? I went to an American public school. I don't know what abyss. What's an abyss? And then on top of that, it's not a known property. Okay? There's no Abyss comic books or TV series or anything like that. It's not a toy line. So people are afraid of the unknown typically, and even when it comes to something as stupid as sitting your fat ass in a movie, and watching a movie, like, I don't know what this movie's about. I'm too scared to try something new when it comes to the movies. So it kind of suffered from that. So you typically have to be somebody like Christopher Nolan or Martin Scorsese to be able to consistently come out with movies that are based on something at least somewhat original, and people will actually go flock to see them there. But James Cameron didn't quite have that cachet quite yet. Okay, he had just done the Terminator. Well, okay, don't let me forget Piranha 2. He had done Piranha 2, then Terminator, then Aliens, and then The Abyss. And so at this point, a lot of people were just like, I don't know what The Abyss is. Hey, let's go see Ghostbusters 2 for the fourth time, okay? So it got its ass kicked, unfortunately, by those bigger properties. But, good thing that never happens anymore. Yeah, okay. Just asked, like, what's his face? The guy, I was going to say the guy who directed The Creator, that came out here, Gareth Edwards. Yeah, like his movie, The Creator, was like a totally original making, a total original creation, and it just got its ass kicked at the movie theater by like Saw X, like a known property. So that's just wanted to give you a recent example of a director trying to give audiences something brand new and fresh that they've never seen before, and the audience has rewarded his efforts with empty theaters. Anyway, but yeah, what else can I say about this movie here as I put this cool Abyss poster up here? James Cameron, he's just a master at imagining and staging and filming action scenes. He's very meticulous. People call him an asshole, right? Because he is meticulous, but him being an asshole, pays off for us when we go see his movies because the results are cool as hell. Now, I wouldn't want to be, an actor, working for him or part of the crew or anything like that because, he does not deal with people half-assing it. He wants your best, and then if you're not given your best, you will.
You are a retard.
Yeah, you'll hear that from him right there. But again, like I was saying, his meticulousness, his, anal retentive nature pays off for us when we go see his movies because his action scenes and his visual effects in his movies, all that stuff, the drama in his movies typically are top notch. Okay. And now when the fit hits the shan in The Abyss because of a severe hurricane and everyone's just trying not to die, you feel that pressure. You feel that near releasing of bowels, amongst the characters in this movie. And, the scenes in Deep Core, the oil drilling rig that they're all in, when, they've got the ocean closing in on them because the hurricane is pretty much just dragging their oil rig, or the crane is dragging their oil rig just all over the ocean floor or wherever they're at, and it's basically it's causing leaks and ocean water to get into their oil rig, and they're having to escape out of rooms so they don't drown. And, you see them running all over, the hallways or whatever, of this oil rig, and they got to shut the doors, to make sure that, the water doesn't get into all the compartments. And you just feel that pressure because they have to get to and through these doors so that they're not relegated to a watery doom, right? And so that action scene, that tension in the abyss is just ratcheted up, 10 levels. Because James Cameron, at least as far as the abyss, knows how to write, and is also smartly, he gives you characters here that you actually give a fuck about. Okay, these are like blue collar, salt of the earth, lunch pail, kind of workers, kind of characters, not pretentious or uppity, and you identify with them or you like them. You don't want anything bad to happen to them, and so. Yeah, when the fit hits the shan and they're just trying not to die, yeah, you don't want anything bad to happen to them. I mean, it's and also on top of that, like that Alan Silvestri score, the music that we have in the abyss, just that pulse pounding, exciting music that really just punctuates the action. It really makes it very, very cool to check out there, and just. Also on top of that, you got all this other tension with the fact that, you've got Michael Bihn's Lieutenant Coffey character in there and the rest of his Navy SEALs. And these guys are trained killers. Okay. Even, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio's Lindsey even says as much in the movie. Like, these guys are trained killers. And on top of that, their leader, Lieutenant Coffey, played by Michael Biehn, just happens to be slowly but surely turning into a psychopath. With a nuclear warhead, that he can detonate at any time, at his fingertips the whole time. So it just ratchets up that tension. It's just so incredible. And I remember like just having my asshole puckered the whole time when I actually saw this movie back in '89, back in the theaters. Okay, so now. There wasn't a packed theater. I don't know. Don't ask me how I remember that, but I remember it wasn't a packed theater, but it was much more packed than I see most of the time today when I go see movies right there. But it's just not logical.
For 1 second, please.
You might see that a few times here tonight, right there. So I just love Ed Harris, and he just yells. He just yells, with the best of the actors there in Hollywood. It's just fantastic. So, all right, let me switch things up here a little bit, okay? Because like they say, if it ain't new, it's through, by me telling you all about our tdpn.locals.com website. And that is, TDPN stands for Till Death Podcast Network, tdpn.locals.com. Now, why in the hell would you want to go there? Well, that's where all of us with the Till Death Podcast Network, we have all our videos and blogs and articles all about movies and entertainment and cocktail recipes, booze and music and politics and hot button sizzling topics of the day, all of that, all in one-stop shopping for you, okay, or all in one stop, I should say. And as you see down there at the very bottom, for all that cool content, you can get all of that free for 1 month if you put in promo code TDPN. Again, that stands for Till Death Podcast Network. And then after that, one free month, where you get all those goodies for free, it's just a measly $3, okay? 3 Canadian pesos for you to be able to access all the content on tdpn.locals.com. You will be a VIP member. Okay, you'll be sitting up in the VIP lounge getting bottle service and having all the hot ladies pushing up on it. Okay, maybe not that, but I had you though. I had you there for a second, and I was getting you. I'll tell you, that's salesmanship, ladies and gentlemen. Salesmanship. That's how you sell. Okay, because I know coffee is for closers. Okay, so I'm gonna close. Okay, so yeah, get a first prize is a Cadillac. Second prize is a set of steak knives. Third prize, you lose your job. What movie's that from? Tell me in the live chat. What movie is that from? Okay. I want to hear from you guys in the live chat right there. So, and again, yeah, that's perfect segue for me to remind you to, you can live chat with me in the in Rumble and Pilled and YouTube. Okay. But yeah, get to tdpn.locals.com. Check it out. You will not be sorry. Do it. Yes. What else should we talk about here with the Abyss? I mean, so many cool things here. Let me play this. Let me get this all situated right here. I thought this was kind of cool, kind of a flashback to back in the day with Siskel and Ebert, with them reviewing the Abyss. I think this is like back in 1993, them reviewing the special edition. But I just got a kick out of this because I grew up watching Siskel and Ebert at the movies. Okay, that was one of the things that got me all excited about movies. Now, back in the day, I was not allowed to watch movies. Okay, my folks were they're very religious. Okay, and so we didn't have a TV at home. We couldn't go to the movies or anything like that. And so eventually they kind of eased up off of that, and I was able to start watching movies and that kind of thing after a while. But for a long time, the closest that I got to watching movies is every once in a while I'd be at a friend's house and Siskel and Ebert at the movies would come on, and I'd be over there long enough to catch like an episode of Siskel and Ebert at the movies. And I couldn't watch the movies, but I could get their review of the movies. Okay. And I think maybe just the fact, and being starved for movies, not being able to watch movies as a kid, that's probably a profound reason why I'm so into movies now, because I probably have this subconscious part of me where I'm fascinated by movies just because they were such a rare commodity to me as a kid. But yeah, all that to say is, yeah, Siskel and Ebert were my only outlet to movies for a long time. I mean, how sad is that? It's just so sad. I mean, and so for a long time, I mean, my whole life would just really went.
She's gone from suck to blow.
Because I didn't have movies. Okay, I couldn't watch Spaceballs. Okay, for the longest time, but then eventually, my folks, they kind of eased up on that, and eventually got to watch movies. But before that, I had to watch these guys all the time.
A strange light deep in the ocean holds the key to the mystery in The Abyss, a 1989 thriller from Terminator director James Cameron that is being re-released with nearly a half hour of new footage added. I liked the film when it first came out, but complained then that the ending seemed abrupt. The new footage rectifies that and other problems, and the resulting film is now quite impressive, sort of an underwater Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Ed Harris and Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio play a strange couple who find themselves as part of a team of scientists, engineers, and military types trying to rescue a sunken nuclear submarine. This new scene adds to the combative nature of their relationship.
Aren't you clever? Jesus, you're clever. You should start your own talk show or something. Ask Dr. Bud. Advice to the lovelorn from 300 fathoms. Thank you. Thank you.
But The Abyss is much more than a personal story. It is an underwater adventure film with stunning visual effects. It won the Oscar in that category, and here in more new footage, we see a couple of the crew members inspecting the sunken sub for radiation.
Coffee, these are the missile hatches, right?
That's right. Looks like a couple of the hatches have sprung.
Just keep in mind here, so as you're watching this, unfortunately, Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert are no longer with us. Okay, so they died much too young. I mean, make no mistake, these guys weren't like old fossils. You know, they didn't die like at Joe Biden's age or something like that. These guys were, you know, relatively young for nowadays when they passed.
Radiation's nominal. Warheads must still be intact.
How many are there?
24 Trident missiles, 8 MIRVs per missile.
It's 192 warheads, Coffey.
But the biggest change in the film occurs at the end, after Ed Harris encounters underwater aliens who have mastered control of water. In the new version, we see them warn the world to clean up its nuclear act. The aliens create a massive tidal wave that threatens to wipe out mankind.
Okay, that's enough. I get the point. How do you know they're really gonna do it?
Seeing Ed Harris and that gear right there, I mean, not that that's an astronaut suit or anything like that, but this kind of reminds me of when Ed Harris was in The Right Stuff. So he was in that movie, The Right Stuff. That was a movie where that was like 3+ hours long, and hardly anybody went and saw it, but it's a classic now. But yeah, I remember Ed Harris being in that. So that's what seeing him in this scene, you know, costumed up like that reminds me of that.
Where do you get off passing judgment on us? You can't be sure. How do you know?
In the director's cut of The Abyss, that sequence lasts 2.5 minutes and was cut for time in the original because it didn't test well. But frankly, I think the movie needs that explanation. It adds weight to now a nearly 3-hour film that at times is in danger of becoming more of a special effects exercise than a human story. The Abyss has been re-released in theaters in New York and Los Angeles, and now this new version has been placed on a fantastic new Laserdisc that is the first Laserdisc project of George Lucas's.
I remember like back in the day where I thought, man, those wave special effects right there were pretty cool. Now they kind of look kind of hokey, or they look pretty hokey now compared to what we have. I mean, even if you watch that movie with Deep Impact, that came out with like 9 years after this movie came out, and all the wave effects and Deep Impact, even those look hokey. So, but you know, the visual effects were what they were, you know, in 89. They were working with what they had.
THX Video Division. It's as good a transfer as I've ever seen. I suggest you check it out because The Abyss has been improved.
You know, Cameron said in interviews about this new version that when the first movie came out, it was his cut. They didn't force him to cut it, but he felt he wanted to concentrate on the relationship between Harris and Mastrantonio instead of on what the aliens were doing down there. And I agree with you that this makes the movie seem more well-rounded, and it also puts back into the film a lot of very impressive special effects.
Absolutely.
And a vision of these people who live on our planet and share, you know, our seas with us, but have a totally different idea about what we're doing.
Yeah, it was a real eye-opener to see it, and I enjoyed it. And again, if people aren't getting into Laserdisc technology, they're really missing something. This is spectacular to see at home. I was just knocked out. It's the best disc that I've really seen.
Laserdisc technology. I love it. I love it. Like, you really got to get in this Laserdisc technology, people. I mean, come on. I mean, here in 2024, you rush right out to Best Buy, everybody. Get yourself that Laserdisc technology, okay? So, but I remember I had a Laserdisc player, too, and I remember I used to think I was hot shit when I had a Laserdisc player, but that's a thing with Laserdisc players and movies that are as long as The Abyss. You had to flip the Laserdisc over, so you'd be like, what, an hour and a half into the movie, and then you'd have to fucking flip the damn thing over. It was fucking annoying here. And hey, Darth Jason here in the house, and he's yeah, absolutely, Darth Jason. Yeah, glad you could make it here, and hopefully you get some friends to join me over here. And one of these days, you know, once I get my you know, stop sitting on my hands here, I gotta like do a little raid on Darth Jason's show here, and then he in turn can raid my show here. So I know like the Whiskey Capitalist podcast does that with Darth Jason's fantastic show, Dark Side Radio. you can check that out on Rumble. Okay, so I always forget to ask you, Darth Jason, like, when is your show on? Okay, I just know that I get on Rumble, like, oh hey, Dark Side Radio's on, but it never dawns on me to take note of, hey, when's this show on? So then I could raid your show there if we possibly are on at the same time. But all that to say, I appreciate you joining me here for this episode. So, and hopefully you've seen The Abyss. The movie's been out for 35 years, so I'd be very surprised if you haven't seen The Abyss here. So, and Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. All right, so excellent. So, yeah, there we go. So, yes, okay, so yeah, none of those times are at the same time as obviously, yeah. probably wouldn't be watching the show if your show was on right now here. So, but that's pretty cool, though. But yeah, that still remains. Yes, check out Dark Side Radio on Rumble, and you just simply have to search for Dark Side Radio on Rumble and check that out. He'll play your requested tunes for you. That is faux show or so. But yes, you are right there, Darth Jason. It is a classic. Okay, you got the Mona Lisa, the Sistine Chapel, and The Abyss. Okay. But one thing that I like about this movie is that it's, for a James Cameron movie, it's got some good emotion in it. Now, why do I always mention emotion in my reviews here or my discussions? Well, it's because emotion helps have a movie make an impact on you. Okay, it's one of the things, if not the thing, that makes you think about a movie well after you leave the theater. Okay, or well after you shut the TV off. Okay, it makes that impact. And that's what I like about movies. Is, for me, the biggest reason I watch movies is because they're an escape, right, from reality. We have enough, god awful shitty shit that happens to us in real life, right? And you just need a fucking escape, right? And sometimes, some people escape via going to concerts or going on, vacationing in Europe or hopping on a cruise ship or something like that. But for me, one of my escapes is movies. And so the best way for a movie to help me escape is for it to have an impact, and have an impact so deep that I'm thinking about it well after the movie's over, right? And so what better way for a movie to make an impact is through emotion. What better way than through emotion there? And so this movie, The Abyss, it has that emotion that had me thinking about it well after I left the theater in 1989, and that's helped with having great actors in it to drive that emotion home, like Ed Harris and Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio. I mean, these guys are stage actors. These guys are seasoned actors. Okay, we're not talking John Cena here, okay, or Dave Bautista, who they did something completely different, and now they're just we're kind of going to try to do the acting thing. Like, no, these are fucking professionals, okay. And so Ed Harris and Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio as Bud and Lindsey Brigman in this really just help drive home that emotion. At the beginning of the movie, they fucking hate each other. They're like an estranged couple. She gets on his nerves, he gets on her nerves. But if you've ever been married, that even though they're getting on your nerves, you still love them. There's still that emotion in there. And so I think they really carry that off there and sell that as a couple like that. And so because that, you actually give a fuck about what happens to these guys. And so you have that scene, towards the end where they have to revive Lindsey. Okay, so she's drowned. She's dead for all intents and purposes. She's dead. And so they have to try to revive her. Okay, and so Ed Harris is trying his damnedest to revive her, and she just will not come to. And everyone's just crying and getting emotional. And Ed Harris, and they're just like, sorry, man, she's gone. And Ed Harris is like, he loves her so much, he's not going to give up on her. And so because the characters are developed in a way in this movie and for long enough to where you actually give a shit about her, you don't want her to die, right? And so when they're getting emotional, you're getting emotional when you watch that scene. And that's one of the scenes where I'm like, holy fuck. Like, I was remembering that, like, after I saw, after I left the theater, and even after I would, even in subsequent viewings of The Abyss, I remember that. And that's one of those things like James Cameron is missing that from his Avatar movies that he does nowadays. I don't know, he's just lost it, or he just doesn't have the right actors in his Avatar movies to really sell that emotion. Titanic had that, had some good effective emotion that made an imprint on it. But Ed Harris and Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, just chef's kiss when it comes to playing characters in a way that you actually care about what happens to them. I mean, at the beginning, you're basically made, or you're steered towards not liking Lindsey because, as she puts it in this movie, she's a cast iron bitch who's honed being a cast iron bitch, after years and years of practice. Okay. And she's as cold as that freezing cold deep sea water that could crush them all in a millisecond. Okay. Just adding to the tension of this movie. It's just amazing. All the tension that's in this movie right there. But check it out. And like I mentioned here, if you didn't see my spoiler-free review that I did on Sunday, the whole reason that I'm discussing The Abyss and doing a review and all that for it is because it just came out with a 4K disc version of The Abyss. Okay, so back on a couple days ago on Tuesday, finally, after decades and decades, James Cameron finished up creating 4K remasters of some of his classic movies, one of which is The Abyss. He also did that for True Lies and Aliens, and those all came out on Tuesday. Okay, so not to play salesman for for Disney and 20th Century Fox and all that that are releasing those 4Ks, but get your pick those up, man. Get yourself a copy of that here. I'm still waiting for mine in the mail here. So, but I was actually lucky enough, like back in December, they released the 4K version, the 4K remastered version of the extended edition of The Abyss, and that's the edition you should watch of The Abyss. Don't watch the theatrical version. Watch the extended edition. And so they did a 4K release of the extended edition. They put it in theaters back in December 6th of last year, and I was lucky enough to check that out here. So, all right. Hey, I'm getting thirsty, everybody. I'm getting thirsty. Are you guys getting thirsty? I mean, you guys, come on. You guys should be drinking. It's Thursday fucking night. It's almost the weekend. It's almost time to full-time kick back, relax. Okay, so now, you might have to work tomorrow here, but hey, it's Thursday night. Just stay up late tonight, and then, hey, Friday, kind of half-ass it at work just to recover from all the fun you're having here during Movies Merica spoiler warning. Okay, so I'm drinking right here, and I'm really going to be drinking here because I think it's time for a little brew review time. What do you guys say? So, and Darth Jason can relate. Cottonmouth bro, the struggle is real. Yep. And I'm about to cure that cottonmouth right here with a little brew review time somewhere here. There it is. Here we go. All right. It's a well-oiled machine here at Movies Merica. Spoiler warning. All right, everybody. Hey, let me introduce you to a familiar classic. I'm sure you guys have all heard of Sapporo Premium here out of Japan. This is a beer with a lot of honor. Yes. And Sapporo is a beer that I'm very, very familiar with. I was stationed over in Japan for 3 years, and this was mother's milk to me. Okay, this and Asahi was mother's milk to me over there. And when I just take a smell off of that beer, it's just got that certain malt that they use that I haven't been able to put my finger on what kind of malt it is that they use. But that malt that they use just gives it this familiar smell, or familiar aroma, I should say, that just reminds me of my time over in Japan. And I remember we used to drink Sapporo, like we'd go to cherry blossom festivals, because if you go to Japan, cherry blossom festivals are big. in Japan. And so basically everyone just gets together in a park and they sit underneath the cherry blossom or the cherry trees with the cherry blossoms falling off of them. And yeah, you just shoot sake all day and drink Sapporo or whatever and just get hammered out of your gourd. And so, yeah, whenever I just drink a Sapporo, I just think back to those days, just, sitting up there in Hokkaido, the northernmost island of Japan. That's where I used to go to for the Cherry Blossom Festival there up in Hokkaido. And yeah, we just chug Sapporo and chug sake. Snake sake was my favorite. Snake sake was very good. And yeah, just have a great time, man. Wow. I'm going to get all misty-eyed just remembering all that time there. So I was thinking of my last Japanese girlfriend that I went to a Cherry Blossom Festival there with one time, and it was a good time. It's a good time. Yeah. So, but yeah, this is a 4.9% alcohol by volume in this, which is typical for a lager, which Sapporo Premium is. And yeah, pick yourself up some. This is definitely not the most obscure beer I've ever reviewed, and I'm not getting any money from Sapporo at all. So this is a completely legit, objective review. Okay, so but with that, let me take a tug off this bad boy. That's good shit. That's the good stuff. Hell yeah. And you know what? In case you live in Mayberry or some other little, one stoplight town or something like that, you can't get Sapporo in there. You could go someplace like, well, I was about to say you can go to like gopuff.com or Open Bar. That's an app, or drizzly.com, and they'll deliver it to you. But I don't know if you live out in the, in the middle of fucking nowhere. I don't know. They might not deliver out to you there. So you might be shit out of luck. So, so what you should do is you should just go to a bigger city and grab yourself a shitload of Sapporo and stock up, okay? And throw it inside your kegerator that I'm sure you have out in your garage, right? Who doesn't have a kegerator, right? Out there, so in your garage, or your beer fridge out in your garage, okay? And set yourself up. Live a life of leisure. A life of leisure and class, okay, with your fridge out in the kitchen, or out in the garage there. So, all right, I'm just talking nonsense now. So we're gonna end brew review time. Oh yes. Yeah, good to see Darth Jason still up in the live chat right there. And let's check over on Pilled and see if we got any signs of life over there in Pilled there. See if they're joining here for the Abyss. And yeah, nobody over there quite yet. So, but hey, you know what? Hope springs eternal. We may get somebody there, but yeah, and then we've got some of folks that are about to show up here later on that have told me that they will show up here for the show to check things out and talk the Abyss. Okay, so all right. So I mean, there's so many other things that we could talk about here with the Abyss here. I mean, it was cool that Ed Harris and Michael Biehn got reunited. What was it, like 7 years after they were in the Abyss together? They reunited in a little movie called The Rock. Yeah, so Sean Connery and his Welcome to the Rock. Yes. It's my Sean Connery impression. Okay. Very terrible. Okay. I remember that, what was it? That movie with Sean Connery and Richard Gere, First Night, where he played King Arthur or something like that. And Richard Gere played Lancelot. And he had one scene in there where Sean Connery's like, I was just a young man when I came to the city. Just doing that with every word that he said. I was just a young man when I came to this city. Then, of course, his famous monologue in The Untouchables, like, you want to know how to get Capone? This is how you get Capone. It's like, he puts one of yours in the hospital, you put one of his in the morgue. Like, that's the Chicago way, and that's how you get Capone. Classic Sean Connery. Gone too soon, the dearly departed Sean Connery, James Bond himself. But yeah, so we had The Rock ad Sean Connery. I was wondering how I got on the whole subject of Sean Connery. But yeah, Ed Harris and The Rock was General Francis X. Hummel, or Frank Hummel, and Michael Biehn was Commander Anderson, playing yet again a commander of Navy SEALs, just like he does in The Abyss there. And Michael Biehn must have loved playing Navy SEAls, because then, of course, he would play a Navy SEAL in the movie Navy SEALs, yes, with Charlie Sheen in that. And then also Michael Biehn in Navy SEALs had another reunion. He reunited with Bill Paxton in Navy SEAls. And, of course, Michael Biehn and Bill Paxton were in Aliens together. Yes. So all kinds of cool little random thoughts, about The Abyss there. And then I was mentioning that scene earlier where they're trying to revive Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio's character of Lindsey Brigman. She's basically dead for all intents and purposes, and so they're giving her the doing CPR on her and trying to shock her awake, with the defibrillator and all that. And so Ed Harris is so, Bud Brigman, her husband, is so desperate to revive her. He's like slapping her in the face, just yelling at her, like, wake up, you bitch! You've never given up on a fucking thing in your life. Wake up, wake up, that kind of thing. And so again, he's slapping her in the face, and James Cameron, he filmed that scene so much he actually ran out of fucking tape and to reload the camera. And so by that time, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, she had been slapped in the face so much, by Ed Harris. And then eventually I think James Cameron got on there and he was slapping her as well. And so when you see her getting slapped in the face, sometimes those hands are James Cameron's hands. And so, of course, the whole time she's getting slapped, she's bare-chested because they have to have, skin to put the defibrillator pads on. And so when he goes to reload the camera with more tape, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio was pretty much like, fuck this shit, all right? I'm getting sick of getting slapped around. And she yells back at them as she, walks off set. She's like, we are not animals, okay? And, of course, James Cameron and the rest of the crew are like, yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can't ever say that Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio never gave her all to her craft. Okay, so I do respect her as an actress for going through that and then signing on for The Abyss. But it traumatized her so much that she refuses to this day. If she's ever doing an interview for something, promoting something, if they even try to ask her about The Abyss, yeah, you'll get the evil eye. Okay, so she will mean mug your ass. Okay, if you even try to ask her about The Abyss, because she does not want to talk herself any Abyss. Okay, she doesn't want to talk that shit at all. And then also I thought it was cool that the watery alien tentacle that we saw in The Abyss. I mean, that was the pretty much the birth of the CGI that we saw later on used in, as for the T-1000 in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Okay. And I mean, and this is before Jurassic Park, revolutionized, CGI and, came out with all the dinosaurs and all that stuff. The Abyss came out, 5 years or 4 or 5 years before Jurassic Park came out. Dennis Murin and Industrial Light and Magic, they knocked it out of the park with the visual effects in The Abyss, and including that watery alien tentacle, or pseudopod as they called it. And so, I think that watery alien tentacle is basically just one of the monumental moments in visual effects. Okay, so if you're like a big, movie nerd like me, or a visual effects nerd, you get your rocks off at a moment like this, where you're like, holy shit, like CGI was changed forever, that kind of thing. So right now, I mean, people are probably listening to this and they're like, oh my God, he's going on and on and on about visual effects. Or like,
no, God, please, no.
Or they're listening to me ramble on about CGI. They're like,
it's the coolest fucking story I've ever heard in my entire life. That's insane. Can I hear it again?
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff there. But one thing that I thought was cool as I was doing some research for this episode, because believe it or not, I do some research for this show. I know it's so hard to believe, but in my in-depth studies and research for this episode, I did kind of stumble across someone made a kind of a homemade trailer for The Abyss. They tried their hand at creating like what a modern trailer for The Abyss look like. And so I was like, you know what? I got to show everybody on this episode what this modern trailer looks like. I thought it was pretty fucking cool. So here we go.
At 09:22 local time today, an American nuclear submarine went down about 22 miles from here. There's been no contact with the sub since then. The cause of the incident is not known. Your company has authorized the Navy's use of this facility for a rescue operation. You can get your rig in under the storm, and that makes you our best option right now. Lieutenant Coffey will transfer it down to you with a SEAL team and supervise the operation.
You can send down whoever you like, Commodore, but I'm the tool pusher on this rig, and when it comes to the safety of these people, there's me and then there's God, understand?
Jammer saw something down there.
Jammer panicked.
But what did he see?
Doesn't this feel more modern, right? Because back in the day, movie trailers were, in a world, these divers came down and they were recruited by the Navy SEALs to help get a U.S. submarine recovered. But then they ran into some aliens. They had the classic voiceover during the trailers now. But that applied to The Abyss. If you watch like old trailers of The Abyss, you hear voiceover guy or movie trailer guy. I forget what the guy's name. Classic movie trailer guy. Somebody in the live chat will let me know who the movie trailer guy was. But this, I like this modern feel to this trailer. So someone just wanted to create this modern trailer for The Abyss. So let's continue.
That made him panic.
Well, what do you think he saw?
Damn. So yeah, check that out. If you just searching like YouTube modern Abyss trailer, and you can check that out for yourself. And give the guy who created that trailer, give him some kudos in the comments there. On YouTube right there. It's I thought it was pretty badass. I thought it was very cool what he did there with the trailer. Oh yeah, here we go. So hey, we got Trevor here joining us on the YouTube side here. So incredible movie up until the most cartoonish spaceship surfacing at the end. So yeah, that shot, like where they take that wide shot, look like they're taking the shot from an airplane or something like that. That is a terrible, terrible shot. Okay, it's just so it's got how do I put it? It's got so many artifacts in it because James Cameron, like with the rest of the movie, he takes a lot of care into having a lot of crisp clarity to the picture, and then in that shot, that famous, because it's famous for being a terrible shot at the end, where it's that shot of all the battleships and the oil tankers, and the alien ship is coming up underneath it. It's even to this day, and apparently it's a shot that they can't improve on. It's just the way that they created it there, and it still looks terrible. You're right on that. And so but it's like, the shots like what lasts like a second or two or something like that, and then it just obviously it's gone. But but the rest of the movie is James Cameron, knocked out of the park as far as his meticulousness there. But yeah, Trevor, great to see you join here with for the show here, and we're gonna be talking a whole lot of Abyss there. So I mean, we'll be talking about some other James Cameron movies here later on as well, and then also, like the episode. Okay, I've just popped it in my head. Like, I should probably ask people to like this episode. Okay, so smash that like button down below. Okay, just drop some nukes like in the Abyss down on that like button there for this episode, and then also hit that subscribe or follow button there if you would, if you are so inclined to subscribe or follow to yours truly. Okay, and you can do that on Rumble, X, Pilled, YouTube. You can find us under Till Death Podcast Network on YouTube there. I'm on Facebook, and all those places you'll find me under Movies Merica, of course. And so, follow me on all those locations. That'd be fantastic. And chances are pretty good, if I see you follow me, I'll follow you back. Okay, so one good turn deserves another. Okay, and then also, if you're watching this episode later on, hey, get in the comments. And let me know what you think of the episode, even if you think it just sucks. If you're like, I watched 3 seconds of this episode, Van, and that was 3 seconds too long. This show sucks. Okay, let me have it in the comments. Okay, because any engagement is good engagement. Okay, so like they say, any publicity is good publicity, which isn't true. Okay, so just ask Kathy Griffin, that friggin' psycho twat. All right, so let's check out. See, I want to get my housekeeping in order over here. All right, so we got to get my ducks in a row, as they say. All right, why don't we? I can't think of any better time here than now to get into what my favorite segment of every episode is, and of course, if you've watched any of my previous episodes, you know that my favorite segment of every episode, every Movies Merica spoiler warning episode on Thursday nights, is my movie military moment. Okay. And if you've never watched an episode before, of course, you're asking, what the fuck is the movie military moment? Okay. Well, the movie military moment is where I just take a few minutes to rightfully honor anyone that's been awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. And so right now you're asking, what the hell does that have to do with movies, man? Well, indulge me as I explain the connection, okay? So, as you would imagine, someone who is awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor, okay, they didn't get that awarded to them just by sitting on their ass, running a laptop, right? Or, working at the mail room, in the military, someone. They had to do something like pretty fucking hellacious, right? Like they had to storm, a Jap bunker on Iwo Jima, single-handedly, or they were a helo pilot in Vietnam landing in a hot LZ to extract the wounded, stuff like that. It's stuff where if you saw it on a movie screen, right, you'd be like, holy shit, what am I watching? Wow, your eyes would be popping out of your head. A very cool movie military moment, okay? That's the connection, folks. Okay, so there you go. It's just 2 + 2 = 4 now for you. So, so for this episode's honoree, or for this episode's movie military moments, our honoree, our well-deserving honoree, is one Petty Officer Michael Edwin Thornton. Sorry, let me show some respect here and get that name right. So Petty Officer Michael Edwin Thornton, and he served in the Vietnam War. Okay, and so any honoree in the movie military moment deserves their very own music, and so let's take care of that right now. This is the movie military moment. And for this movie military moment, the recipient, the honoree for this edition, is one Petty Officer Michael Edwin Thornton, who served with distinction during Vietnam. And let's learn more, shall we, about Petty Officer Michael Edwin Thornton and what he did to be awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty while participating in a daring operation against enemy forces, Petty Officer Thornton, as Assistant U.S. Navy Advisor, along with a U.S. Navy Lieutenant serving as Senior Advisor, accompanied a 3-man Vietnamese Navy SEAL patrol on an intelligence gathering and prisoner capture operation against an enemy-occupied naval river base. Launched from a Vietnamese Navy junk in a rubber boat, the patrol reached land and was continuing on foot towards its objective when it suddenly came under heavy fire from a numerically superior force. The patrol called in naval gunfire support and then engaged the enemy in a fierce firefight, accounting for many enemy casualties before moving back to the waterline to prevent encirclement. Upon learning that the Senior Advisor had been hit by enemy fire and was believed to be dead, Petty Officer Thornton returned through a hail of fire to the lieutenant's last position, quickly disposed of 2 enemy soldiers about to overrun the position, and succeeded in removing the seriously wounded and unconscious Senior Naval Advisor to the water's edge. He then inflated the lieutenant's life jacket and towed him seaward for approximately 2 hours until picked up by support craft. By his extraordinary courage and perseverance, Petty Officer Thornton was directly responsible for saving the life of his superior officer and enabling the safe extraction of all patrol members, thereby upholding the highest traditions of the U.S. Naval Service. And we salute you, Petty Officer Michael Edward Thornton, in this movie military moment. Thank you for doing all you could to preserve and extend our American freedoms there. We don't have words for how grateful we are, or I should speak for myself. So that has been this movie military moments. All right. So, yeah. So, and as I always say here, if you happen to know the family or any friends of Petty Officer Michael Edwin Thornton, and you think that they might get a kick out of seeing their loved one get the honor that he deserves, then yeah, let them know about this episode. Have them check out the movie military moment featuring their loved ones. I would imagine if I was a friend or a family member of a movie military moment honoree, I'd be moved. I'd be touched, by the dedication or the honoring of my loved one there. So, all right, but I love that segment right there. Love it. All right, yeah, got Trevor. Yep, there we go, and oh yeah, there we go. So. Yeah, it's Ed Harry, very good. Yeah, the lessons can be learned by children. With The Abyss right there. Okay, it doesn't just have to be entertaining; it can be educational as well. It's edutainment, as I've heard sometimes there. So yes. And there we go. Well, let me take that down there because that doesn't display very well there in StreamYard there. But USA. See, there you go. I'll vocalize the sentiment there. But thanks, Darth Jason, for that. So I know I'm fired up, man. I'm charged up after that movie military moment. I'm gonna like run through a wall, with a rifle right now, So just love it. I love it. So yeah. All right, what should we do now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Okay, so you know what? Oh, I know what I should do. I should beg you all for money. And where I'm going with that is if you are so inclined and you're appreciating what you're watching here and you want to back up your appreciation with a little cash and you want to throw me a buck or two or something like that, hey, by all means, far be it from me to dissuade you from doing that. So all you have to do is if you're watching this in Rumble, you can give me what's called a Rumble rant. And how you do that is you just hit that button that has the $sign on it down by where you put your, type in your live chat message. You can give me a Rumble rant there. And then also in YouTube, if you're watching on Rumble or watching on YouTube, I should say, you can give me what's called a super chat. And that's that's done by hitting the button with the $sign down by where you type in your live chat. Are you kind of getting a pattern? Are you detecting a pattern here? Okay. And then if you're on watching me on pilled.net and you're in the live chat, you can give me what's called a gold pill or give me what's called gold pills in the live chat on Pilled. And gold pills equate to mula, to money, to dinero. Okay, so vatos, give me dinero. So I'm going to be some burritos. And if we have any Latino viewers right now, they are all leaving now. So yes. I'm so sensitive. Today to today's sensibilities. So you can do that in Pilled. Just hit the old gold pill button there and you can give me gold pills there in Pilled. Again, don't do any of that unless you really want to, but that's just in case you want to back up any kind of appreciation for yours truly, slaving over a hot live streaming stove for you. Okay, so, and I see Agent X6 here joining us in the Pilled live chat. Welcome to the show. Good to see you there here, getting some Agent X6 representation in the live chat on Pilled.net. And he's got a picture of a confused Biden. Is there any other kind there in the live chat? So, and that's one of the cool perks of live chat with me on Pilled is you can put stickers, what's called stickers, or what others would call GIFs there in your live chat. It's kind of cool. Very, very cool. So so that goes for any lurkers out there watching the show. And what's a lurker? Well, a lurker is somebody who's watching the show and isn't driving or isn't otherwise preoccupied, is just watching the show but not live chatting. You're called a lurker. And so if you're a lurker, hey, just get in the live chat. You don't have to put the Gettysburg Address in there. You don't have to type in a Stephen King novel. They're just give us a thumbs up, or okay, or it'll just say hi. Just doesn't have to be anything long. Just let us know, hey, that you're with us there in the live chat, and get to know everybody in the live chat. Okay, I'm sure you'll find them to be lovely people. Yes, particularly Agent X6 and Darth Jason and Trevor, all in the live chat in various places, all that good stuff. So, all right, so let's do this here after. Well, we're gonna do my top 5 James Cameron movies, but not until after I get a little more Sapporo down my gullet.
Oh yeah, so good. All right, in a world where a guy is really thirsty, he drinks some Sapporo beer. Yes.
All right, let's get into my top 5 James Cameron movies, shall we? All right. So just to warn you, okay, I guarantee anybody who there's going to be some people that are going to see my top 5 lists, in particular the order that I have these James Cameron movies, and you guys are going to think I'm off my fucking rocker. You guys are going to think I'm off my fucking meds. Okay, all right. And, that's cool. That's cool. That's a beautiful thing about having opinions right there. I mean, I'm entitled to be right, and you're entitled to be wrong. But yeah, you're going to like, what? That one, that movie was before this movie? What the hell, And you know what? What are you going to do, you might be offended, but hey, if you're offended,
be offended.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. There I go. Really appealing to the audience right there. So yeah, I've just got that great bedside manner. I know, but let me preface me showing you this list. Let me kind of give you some context as far as like why I put these movies in this order. Okay, so I put these movies in the order of which ones, when I first saw them, like made like the biggest impact to me emotionally, right? Or mentally or psychically or however you want to put it, right? The movie that I was thinking about the most after I saw it, okay? And that might be because I saw the movie when I was a little kid and I was more young and impressionable, okay? Or there was just some really cool fucking scenes in the movie that it was impossible for them not to make an imprint in the old noggin right here, okay? That's kind of, so I'm gauging, I'm grading these movies based on that. Okay, that's my litmus test, so to speak, there. So that's where I'm going, right there. And yeah, Trevor's like, so yeah, just make the list right. Don't disappoint us. Yeah, no pressure at all. All right, so with all that pressure on me, let's get right into it. And so we're going to go from number 5 to number 1, numero uno. And my 5th favorite James Cameron movie is Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Yes, the movie that was a phenomenon back in 1991. Okay, so, I mean, if you were alive and you had brain function in the summer of 1991, this movie was everywhere. Okay, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Okay, and you couldn't go anywhere without hearing that damn Guns N' Roses song, right? So you could be mine, everywhere, right? Trevor's like, starting with number 1, I see. Yes, we already have our first disagreement here. So we're starting with the first disagreement with the very first movie that I've listed here. So we're off to a great start here. So, but yeah, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. This made obviously a massive impact on me just because of the revolutionary nature of the special effects in this. Okay, and it was metal. This movie was just so fucking metal, wasn't it? I mean, it just had kind of this matter of fact action to it. Okay, it's kind of matter of fact, like the T-800 and the T-1000. These characters are just like these machines that have like this objective they have to meet. They're very matter of fact. They're not in motion. You can't reason with them or anything like that. And they're just going around and they're just blowing people away. They're just crashing shit. And just the money that was soaked into this movie for just like the big action set pieces and the chase scenes and just how James Cameron choreographed the action. I mean, like the whole the spin cocking, for lack of a better way of putting it, that Arnold was doing, with the gun you see there in this picture, as he's riding, the Harley in that car chase scene, down the LA River, I guess, it just little touches like that during the action scenes just made Terminator 2 Judgment Day so fucking metal. Okay. And it also helped that it had that threat of nuclear annihilation. And then just that scene where, where Sarah Connor is dreaming and she dreams of, that nuclear detonation over LA and just those fucking gnarly effects of, people burning up, from the nuclear blast and shit. I'm like, holy fuck. When I first saw that for the very first time in the big ass movie screen, And I was like, holy shit, that James Cameron is not fucking around with this movie. And then, of course, with other scenes like when Edward Furlong, as John Connor's like, you promised you won't kill anybody, and Schwarzenegger turns back towards him, trust me, and he goes out there, he's just taking out cop cars with that fucking minigun. It was so badass. And then the car chase at the end, where they're getting chased by the T-1000 and the helicopter and shit. And Agent X6 there in Pilled, he's got that scene where that reminds me of the opening scene of T2, where they had that much improved CGI wise peek into the future, where you've got the Resistance fighting the machines and whatnot, just so badass. And the Agent X6, he's picking up what I'm putting down. He's putting that gif of the minigun scene from T2 there. Absolutely. So it's there you go. Exactly. Trevor, he's saying that he thought Edward Furlong was the coolest kid ever. Yeah, back in 91, his character there is John Connor. He was just like this little teenage shit, and he was a child of his situation, right? He's got foster parents that are dicks, as he puts it. He's weirdly enough, that prepares him for what he's got to be in the future. He's got this roughness, this edge to him that it's going to take for him to be John Connor, the leader of the Resistance. But yeah, Edward Furlong, man. Yeah, he was the shit back in 91. And then apparently he went downhill from there. I mean, he had such a fucking springboard to his career, with massive phenomenon, massive movie event that was Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And then he must have had a shitty agent, or Edward Furlong was shit when it came to picking scripts, because his career just really went nowhere after being John Connor in this movie. I mean, I think he did a Pet Sematary sequel after this, and he did American History X, but pretty much his life just went in the fucking toilet after this movie. But it's probably just another example of that whole child actor phenomenon you hear too much about. Look up the whole cast of Different Strokes, right? I mean, so I think he probably just got tainted. He was just soiled, so to speak, as a child actor. But he was cool as far as Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Yeah, he was cool as a young John Connor in that movie. But and then Linda Hamilton, as Sarah Connor, she showed she wasn't like the frumpy, helpless waitress that she was in the Terminator. She got fucking ripped. She got shredded for Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And so she did a fantastic job at showing what a woman would do when she knows that the world is going to end, and so she's committed to trying to prevent nuclear annihilation, right? Because she's she knows, like, on August 9th, 1997, I think is the date. She knows on August 9th, 1997, Skynet is gonna launch these nukes and all that shit. So and so what would you do, right, if you knew, hey, when a nuclear apocalypse was going to happen? You definitely would do everything you could to try to stop it, right? Unless you were a lazy motherfucker or you were suicidal or something. Or you were just like so black-pilled, you're like, I don't give a fuck, everybody can fucking die. But not her, not Sarah Connor. And so, yeah, Linda Hamilton was she was a fucking badass. She was cool in this movie. Trevor Whitaker Trevor was saying that in this movie, Edward Furlong as John Connor was cool. Yeah, Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor was fucking badass in this as well. So, and Agent X6 makes a good point. Hollyweird could have crushed Furlong's soul. We may never know what really happened there. So, yeah, you never know. But we all think that we would do better if we were a child actor in Hollywood, but you never know. Who knows? I mean, that first time Kevin Spacey shows up, with that mirror, with with those lines of coke. You never know. You like to think that you would resist Kevin Spacey's advances, but you never know. All right, but yeah, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, fantastic movie. I mean, shit. How many times have you seen this movie? I've seen this movie like probably over 100 times. Well, yeah, let me know in the live chat how many times you guys have seen Terminator 2, or approximately, if you guys can recall. It's probably a shitload, right? I mean, if you're like me, you just destroyed. I mean, you fucking played that fucking VHS copy of Terminator 2 big time, all right? And then later the Blu-ray or the DVD, and then the Blu-ray, and now I got Terminator 2 on 4K over here. So love it. All right, so yeah, Trevor's like about 30-something times. Yep, there we go. I hate to say those are rookie numbers, man, but no, I'm kidding. But yeah, T2, fantastic movie. Again, a phenomenon in the summer of 1991. That movie was fucking everywhere. Okay, so everywhere. All right, so let me take a tug off my Sapporo here real quick before we move on to numero quattro. That's Spanish for whale's vagina. So, yes. All right. Number 4 is Aliens. Yes, Aliens. This movie, my God. I think the reason this movie made an impact on me, the reason it made an impact on me is because I don't want to forget Agent X6. Seen it more times than he can remember. Yep. I feel you, dog. But back to Aliens. So Aliens, yeah, this movie made an impact on me because this was back in the day where my folks were starting to let me and my siblings watch movies. Okay, because like I said before, earlier in this episode, my parents were very, very strictly religious for a number of years, and so we couldn't watch movies. Well, eventually, thanks to some wrangling, some begging, some serious lobbying by me, eventually they started kind of loosening their rules about watching movies and TV shows and all that stuff. And it should have seen me. Dude, the top lobbyist in DC couldn't hold a fucking candle to what I was doing. I would to the persuasive tactics I was using on my parents, as a young teenager, okay, to get them to get a TV in the fucking house and then, let us watch movies and all that kind of shit, okay. And so when I saw Aliens, I had put in years and years and years of work, and finally had gotten to the point where, okay, we not only could we have a TV in the house, now we could watch movies, and we even went as far as, we bought a VCR, okay, and we could watch movies on the VCR, but we still couldn't watch R-rated movies. And everyone, what's the rating of Aliens? Yep, right. It's rated R, right? And so, Trevor, are you purposely putting this first backwards? So when I saw this movie, the very first time I saw this movie, I had some friends come over. And I can't remember. I think I rented Aliens, or somebody brought Aliens over, and so they were all spending the night. And so we were just gonna pound booze and whatnot, and watch movies all night long. And so my parents were upstairs, okay, and so the whole time we're putting Aliens on, and the whole time the movie's on, I'm like, parents aren't coming down, are they? The parents. And so we were watching in like the family room downstairs. We had the door closed and all that stuff. And so this is the very first time I saw this movie. And of course, if you've seen Aliens, like how fucking gnarly and barbaric and shocking it is, especially for somebody that, especially for the first time someone's seen the movie. And so the whole time I'm watching this movie, I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, what am I watching? Wow, this is fucking amazing. But at the same time, I'm like, and so that's why I think it made an impact on me, like in addition to watching Aliens, like bust out of the chests of women and blood and guts everywhere and all that shit, and people getting killed by alien acid and fucking gunfights and all that shit. I'm like, fucking scared to death that my parents are going to open up the fucking door and see us watching this movie. And so again, that's why this movie made a profound impact on me mentally. And then of course, my buddy Jason Sheely, he had to bring over some booze. So I can't remember what he brought over. I think he brought some Jack Daniels. And keep in mind, I am like, I'm so fucking I'm 16 years old. So I'm like, I'm a sophomore. Actually, I'm a sophomore in high school. So sophomore in high school, what is that, fucking 16? So yeah, I'm 16 years old. He brings over a fifth of Jack or something like that, or Jim Beam or something like that. So we're watching an R-rated movie, which I'm not supposed to be watching. Okay, we're chugging Jim Beam, and so we're probably in the middle of the movie, and I'm thinking, hey, this might get away with this. Okay, my parents might not ever find out. Well, then my brother Davin opens up the door. And he sees what we're watching, and I'm sure he probably saw someone taking a tug off that bottle of Jim Beam or whatever it was. And he wigged out. He freaked out. Oh, my God, they're drinking. They got booze. Ah, I better tell Mom and Dad. My fucking brother ratted me out, okay? Ran upstairs as fast as he possibly fucking could. Mom, Dad, Donovan. Donovan's my full name. Donovan's downstairs. They're drinking booze and alcohol, and they're watching R-rated movies. And so before long, next thing I know, I hear a voice behind me. I can't remember exactly what they said, but they're like, "What is this you guys are watching? And is that alcohol I see there?" And so so we got busted. Okay, thanks to my little brother. So every single time I watch Aliens, I remember that situation, that episode. I remember my parents calling all the parents of all my friends that came over, and I think they drove some of my friends, home, and I had to be in the fucking van. And I was embarrassed beyond fucking belief and all that shit. Like, oh man, I tell you. So it's just fucking that fucking situation just still fucking burns me. So there you go. So yeah, so don't ever have a little fucking brother, okay? They will rat your ass out, okay? There. So I don't know. But Aliens, let's talk about the actual movie, okay? The movie is fantastic. But it of course is the sequel to Alien, the Ridley Scott movie that came out in 1979. There. So, and real quick here, I just spotted something out of my left eye here. So Sean and I have regular Alien watch parties with all the various movies there. Excellent. Yeah. Him and Sean, they get together and watch all the Aliens. There you go. You apparently have fantastic, exquisite taste in movies there. So, and I'm sure, guys, when you watch them, you don't have to worry about some fucking parents busting in. What are you guys doing in there? What are you guys doing? Like swinging the door open. What the fuck are you watching? What are you doing? Like, so there you go. It's probably like now, maybe I wonder if weed doesn't taste as good now because it's not like back in the day where you're smoking weed, you had to, somebody gonna catch me? Is Johnny Law behind me? Like, because weed's all legal now. So I wonder if weeds like that where it's just not as good because it's not the forbidden fruit now. Kind of like when I watch Aliens now, because like after the show is over with, I could fire up Aliens on my TV right here, and it's not gonna hit me as much. One, because I could watch it freely. I don't have to worry about my parents busting in and what are you watching? So, but yeah, the movie Aliens fantastic. I mean, I just like the military vibe, just the military story to the fact that it's like just this military thriller of sorts, right? It's kind of this more of an action adventure than Alien was. Alien was kind of like this haunted house movie in a spaceship, basically, and it was kind of more of a slow burn, kind of more moody and ethereal, so it wasn't like pulse rifles, blowing away aliens left and right, and fucking spaceships flying everywhere and that kind of thing. And we had no Vasquez, no Hicks, no Hudson, no fucking Marines and all that shit in that movie. But Aliens did have all that stuff in there, and so it was more of a kind of a just visceral action thriller, frenetic and kinetic, all that stuff, but it also had that shock value to it. Okay, and you just you got to see like the cool military, the Marine tactics in there, and you got the cast of characters. The Marines that you got to meet were fucking badass. You had Hudson and Hicks and Vasquez and all those guys. Apone and all of them there, and just you had the great chemistry between all the characters, and it's like Hudson going to Vasquez, has anyone ever mistaken you for a man? Like, have you ever been mistaken for a man? She quickly, without a hesitation, fires back, no. Have you? Just that great back and forth, man. Just giving each other like heaps of shit. I just love that chemistry between the Marines. Then he had Sigourney Weaver, and she's the officer, playing Ellen Ripley, and she's like the consultant, and she's kind of like the more mature, sophisticated kind of character, because she's I was about to say because she's an officer, but that doesn't always mean anything. Doesn't mean shit. But then she turns out to be like what so many modern movie makers nowadays crave. They love. She turns out to be a girl boss. Okay. But she's a girl boss in a non-obnoxious way, okay? Because Sigourney Weaver wasn't doing press for Aliens back in 1985 and 1986 going, finally, all right, I get to play a female hero in this movie, okay? It's about fucking time, and I am the first, okay? And so you better go see Aliens, otherwise you're a fucking sexist misogynist, okay? No. She didn't do any of that. Okay. She was just like, hey, there's this great fucking role that I took on in the first Alien. I've read this script for Aliens, and man, I get to be a badass. I get to be this heroine. I get to be this action figure, this action hero / mother to Newt. Okay. Mother figure to Newt. What a fantastic movie for me. And yeah, Sigourney Weaver as Ellen Ripley kicks fucking ass as a girl boss in this movie way before Jennifer Lawrence was in Hunger Games. Okay, so you better be sitting down, Jennifer Lawrence. I hate to break it to you, but you weren't the first fucking female action star, as much as you like to fucking think you are. Okay, you had Ellen Ripley played by Sigourney Weaver. You had Angelina Jolie as Veruca Salt, Evelyn Salt, as she was Laura Croft, all these fucking, female action heroes well before Jennifer Lawrence played Katniss Everdeen in the Hunger Games movies. So, but Aliens, fantastic movie. Agent X6 is game over, man, game over. The late, great Bill Paxton as Hudson right there. And so, of course, we had seen Bill Paxton already in another James Cameron movie, The Terminator, playing a young punk who gets his ass, basically gets killed by the Terminator in The Terminator there. So, and then also he was in a blink or you'll miss it appearance in a non-James Cameron film called Commando, of course. Bill Paxton was in Commando. What else is there to say about Aliens? Because I'm afraid I'm leaving something out. I don't want to be that guy that leaves anything out here. There, I mean, just great action. Lance Henriksen as Bishop, fantastic in this movie, and it launched, Lance Henriksen's career. Now he had been in movies before, like he was in Damien, Omen 2, back in the 70s. There, so he'd been around in movies, but Lance Henriksen was really launched by Aliens, and Lance Henriksen was also in The Terminator. He played a cop in The Terminator as well. So, All right. Well, time's a wasting here, and got things to do, movies to watch, okay? Here, so we're going to move down to number 3 here. And what could number 3 be? Titanic. Titanic, motherfuckers. Titanic. Yeah. All right. The movie that we didn't know what the ending was at all. So, again, remember what I was saying as I beer burp all over the fucking place here. What I was saying as far as like why I rank the movies this way. Emotional impact. Okay. So, the movies that I remembered the most when I left the theater. Okay. And so Titanic had emotion, it had this psychological impact to it. Okay. And that's in spite of us all knowing how this movie was going to go down. I mean, literally, this movie went down. The ship went down. Okay. And I thought one of the amazing things about this movie is just you see the money that they spent, which was like, I think it was, I don't think it's the most expensive movie anymore. I don't think, but I think at the time it was the most expensive movie ever made. And you saw all that money on the fucking screen. Okay. I mean, just with the Titanic effects. And again, this movie gave you characters that you rooted for. Okay. That you didn't want to have die. I mean, not just, Leo DiCaprio as Jack and Kate Winslet as Rose, but he had Kathy Bates as the unsinkable Molly Brown, and then he had Billy Zane. He played the the douchebag that you wanted to see die, right? I mean, you wanted fucking horrible, terrible things to fucking happen to that motherfucker. Okay, along with the late great David Warner, who played his right hand man there, and Trevor is a big fan of this pick right here, apparently. So he just can't. Apparently, he can't get himself enough Titanic right there. So he's probably going to watch Titanic right after this episode. Matter of fact, he's probably not going to watch the show anymore. He's probably going to drop off the stream and watch Titanic right now. But yeah, Titanic. I mean, another great thing about Titanic is that fucking great James Horner score to this movie. Okay, and then also, when you watch this movie, does the ship sink right off the bat? No. Does it hit the iceberg right off the bat? No. You get to know these characters even before they get on the ship, even before this fucking ship pulls out of port, right? And so then there's what is like a fucking hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours before this thing hits the iceberg. And so it's developing this love story between Jack and Rose. It gets to the point where you're like, is this movie about Titanic? You kind of forget about it, right? You kind of forget that this ship they're on is the Titanic. And you forget that this ship is eventually something very bad is going to happen to the ship and its passengers, right? But you forget about that because you're engrossed in, their love story, and then the push and pull between Billy Zane's character and Rose, and then her bitch mom, and Kathy Bates, unsinkable Molly Brown character. And then you got the captain, who's future King Theoden, in the Lord of the Rings movies, with Bernard Hill, I think is his name, the ship's captain, future Theoden, and then you get I forget what the actor's name is, who plays like the designer of the ship. I'm going to cheat here. I'm going to IMDb. I'm cheating, everybody. I'm going to be a little bitch and go to IMDb and look up that. I just I had it right on the tip. I hate that. Like, it's right on the fucking tip of your tongue right there, and you just can't think of it here. And I'm going to fucking kick myself when I see his name. I'm like, God damn it. I fucking knew that fucking name. Victor fucking Garber. Victor Garber. Yeah, he was Thomas Andrews in the movie there in Titanic. So yeah, fantastic character there. So you get to know all that to say you get to know characters like his there, and Victor Garber. Later on you'd see him in the TV series Alias a few years after Titanic, and also he was in Sicario as well. But yeah, you get to know all these characters. They're interacting with Rose and Jack, and they're going through their, they have the scene where, Rose is, wants to fling herself off the back of the ship, and Jack, talks her off the ledge, and then that gets him into the circles with the hoity-toity rich crowd and whatnot, and he's wooing Rose, and then that's where he gets to know Andrews and just the elite of the ship, right? The first class of the ship, right? And so all of that is going down for like the first hour and a half, and again, it gets so involved that again you fucking forget that something fucking terrible is going to happen to these people, and then by the time that Rose and Jack become a couple officially, right? And they really become a couple, right? So you're like, yeah, great, this is awesome, I love this couple, this is fucking great. Billy Zane, go fuck yourself. Jack's got her, they're a couple now, and then the fucking iceberg shows up and it fucking hits the iceberg. You're like, fuck, man, like what the hell, these guys are getting together, it's a good feel-good movie, and then fuck, that's right, I forgot this movie's about Titanic, and they're hitting this fucking iceberg, and then next thing you know, this fucking ship is going down. But then it turns into this cool, action-packed movie, where everyone's shitting their pants and they're trying to get to the lifeboats, and that's another aspect of Titanic, where you've got that sense of foreboding, that forecasting, right? Where they're talking about they wanted to put more lifeboats, on, but the ship's designer, or the powers that be, thought that the deck would be too cluttered, so they don't have enough lifeboats for everybody that's on the ship there, right? And so there's just that foreshadowing with that I thought was a genius move to put into the script there, and then of course that it comes to fruition, right? Basically, Andrews just says, "Hey, everyone on the ship is not going to make it. A lot of the people, I can't remember what he says, like half the people on the ship are going to fucking die there." So yeah, just great writing right there. But then you get Rose has to save Jack from being handcuffed, down below, and then you get the poor people. They got to try to survive. They try to get up to the decks and that kind of thing, and then also you get the they get the band, the violinists and all that stuff. They're playing on the deck of the Titanic, as it's sinking. Let's keep playing. It'll keep us warm. Just the way that James Cameron staged the whole thing, and just staged the fucking sheer panic, of this, true story, of course. All right, all this shit went down, and just really drives home like just the fucking horror, right? The hell that these people must have been going through, right? Because you can just imagine, you're like, holy fuck, like I'm literally fighting for my life. Like, look at all that fucking water down there, freezing fucking cold. I'm gonna be a fucking popsicle here and whatever. It really portrays just the icy fucking horrors that they were facing in this movie right there. So no, not icy horrors. Okay, we're not talking about the whorehouse up in the North Pole. Not those kind of icy horrors. Okay, so don't get all excited, everybody. But Titanic, fantastic movie. It has Bill Paxton in it. Bill Paxton, plays the modern day, at least as of 1997 when this came out. He's like the treasure hunter, and he's looking for the heart of the ocean, the big jewel that Rose was given as a young lady. I that's one of the things that I like about Titanic, is I like how it mixes the present day with the days of Titanic there, and I think it just kind of adds a cool factor to it, and also it gave James Cameron a chance to show all these modern day submersibles that he was, that apparently by the time Titanic came out, he was big into the ocean and going on all these deep sea odysseys using these submersibles and stuff. And so I think he wanted to really incorporate those into this movie. So I really think that that added a cool layer to Titanic. That we start off in modern day with this treasure hunter played by the late great Bill Paxton, and then they come into contact with Rose DeWitt Decatur. I can't remember. I think that's her name, and they find her, and they get in contact with her to try to find the heart of the ocean, and in order to maybe get it out of her, like where the heart of the ocean is at, she starts telling the story. And I just thought, what a genius way for this movie to start telling the story of Titanic and what happened to her and stuff. Just, you don't see that kind of good writing and that, nowadays. And so then I like how they cut from the days of Titanic to back to modern day, kind of interspersed throughout the movie. So Titanic, fantastic movie. And again, it just made that emotional impact. And so that's why it's number 3 above, some other movies there. So, but that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So, all right, it's beer time before we get to numero dos here. So, and of course, like Trevor is doing in the live chat, let me know, hey, what you guys think about my list as I'm going through here in the live chat. Okay, so don't be shy. I mean, just let me have it. I mean, put it in there. Like you're fucking off your fucking rocker. All right, what the hell? Like you need to take more pills, man. What the hell? Get back on your meds, dude. Why? This is your list, and you have it in this order. Or hey, you know what? I'm never above appreciating having praised showered all over me. Okay, so if you want to kiss my ass and compliment all my picks and in what particular order they're in, hey, that's cool too. All right, absolutely. All right, everybody. I believe that brings us to number 2. What could number 2 be? What could it be? There it is. True Lies. Yes. So this is the movie that came out before Titanic. This movie came out in 1994. And as you see there, it stars one Arnold Schwarzenegger. Pardon me. Sorry about that. Very sophisticated of me, I know. So yeah, True Lies. And again, this reason this is number 2 is because this made a mental imprint on me. This really impressed me here. Trevor's, yes, you totally redeemed yourself. Just when I thought you couldn't get any dumber, you go and you totally redeem yourself. There with my True Lies pick there, apparently. So there we go. I'm feeling the love. But yeah, True Lies. The reason that it made an impact on me is just because of just the sheer balls out fucking action set pieces in this movie. Okay. James Cameron was like, I got all this money to make this action movie, and I am spending every red fucking cent on explosions and helicopters and Harrier jets and fucking horses jumping off of fucking buildings and motorcycle chases and fucking chases through the fucking snow and blowing up this and blowing up that. Just badass shit, right? And so I remember, I think the thing that made the biggest impact with me from an action standpoint is that whole action set piece on the bridge, right? As they're chasing down the truck with the nuclear warhead in it, and they're calling in the Marines with their Harrier jets, and the Harrier jets, come in and they just fucking turn the fucking truck into coleslaw, and they're blowing up the bridge. They're launching their Sidewinders or whatever they have, and they're just blowing shit up, and I'm like, I remember watching that. I'm like, holy fucking shit. How much did this cost? Holy god damn. All right. And then just the scene shortly before that where, Schwarzenegger, as what, Harry Tasker, or is it? Yeah, I think it's, yeah. What his name was, he's lighting the whole fucking terrorist base up with the fucking, the homemade, I guess the jerry-rigged flamethrower that he's got there. I mean, that scene was fucking badass too, where he's just barbecuing the whole fucking place and all the baddies and shit. Thought it was badass. And yeah, Trevor, yeah, Bill Paxton, again, that's another thing about True Lies is it's fucking funny. It's funny as fuck. And Bill Paxton was one of the funniest parts of this movie. I just like that whole storyline with him, playing the used car salesman, but he's pretending to be a secret agent, because he's, trying to put the screws to Arnold's wife, played by by Jamie Lee. I was about to say Jesse Ventura. What the fuck? Jamie Lee Curtis. She plays Ellen Tasker, in this movie. Yeah, so Bill Paxton is hilarious as this slimy used car salesman that he's got some great lines in there. He's Arnold's test driving this classic Corvette, and Bill Paxton's like, "Hey, what can I say? The vet gets him wet." It's what a sleaze bag, right? And he's talking about getting this getting up all on this woman and trying to nail her, and of course the woman that he's talking about is Schwarzenegger's wife, and of course Schwarzenegger knows about it, and he's just getting pissed off. And at that, of course, by the time that scene hits, he knows Bill Paxton is a sleaze bag that's trying to nail his wife, right? Bill Paxton is the late great Bill Paxton is one of the best parts of True Lies. And again, surprisingly enough, I was shocked. I was just as shocked as you are. Surprisingly, one of the funniest parts of True Lies is fucking Tom Arnold. What? Tom Arnold? Because Tom Arnold was like, just as of the time the True Lies came out, he was just like the moronic douchebag that was dragged into any sort of notoriety by being the one that was nailing Roseanne Barr, right? And he was just like this complete fucking douchebag, right? And then you saw Tom Arnold in True Lies, and me personally, I was like, well, he's kind of funny in this movie. Okay, he's kind of holding his own as kind of as the as a comedic sidekick to Schwarzenegger. Okay, so yeah, it's fantastic there, and yeah, Trevor's like the truth serum scene. Yes, how do you plan on doing all that? My handcuffs? Yes. I pick them. Yeah, it's a great scene right there. And I think that's pretty much the first scene where Jamie Lee Curtis, as his wife, gets to see her husband, her character, the husband, kick some serious ass in this movie there. So, because that's when she first realizes, it's the first time she realized, like, holy fuck, my husband's a fucking badass. This guy's taking lives and, not thinking twice about it. So, but, and then also you have the hot ass Tia Carrere in this movie. She's playing Juno Skinner in this movie. Like, that's a name, right? That's a character name you don't hear that often in a movie. Juno Skinner. So Tia Carrere in this movie. So I had to remind myself to refresh the live chat over there in Pilled. I don't know why that reminded me of that, but anyway. So yeah, this is Tia Carrere. A couple of years after she was in, a couple of years after she was in Wayne's World. I was about to say the first time we saw her, but that's not the first time we've seen Tia Carrere in a movie. She was in with Showdown in Little Tokyo with Dolph Lundgren and the late great Brandon Lee. She was in that movie before she was in Wayne's World, and of course she was in Wayne's World 2 before True Lies, and then by the time True Lies came out, she played Juno Skinner. We were well familiar with the lovely and talented Tia Carrere. And I say talented, I really mean talented when I say that, because she's a great singer too. Just look up Tia Carrere, on YouTube or wherever. She's a fucking fantastic singer in real life as well. But all kinds of cool stuff in this movie. I mean, just the opening where we kind of get this scene where Schwarzenegger's character gets to play James Bond, so to speak. He's all suited and booted. He's all tuxed out, breaking into the mansion, of this bad guy, and he's got to get some information off a computer, and he's got to get out of that, the sticky situation that he's in by, planting some explosives and blowing it up. And then, there's a big old chase scene. Of course, they stick the Dobermans on him. He's got that great scene where the Dobermans jump up at him, and he takes the Dobermans and knocks their heads together and shit. And you get a cool chase scene with snowmobiles and skis and all that shit. Something straight out of a James Bond movie, like A Few to Kill or For Your Eyes Only or something like that. And Tom Arnold is driving the truck and all that stuff. And man, I hate that. I don't know if you guys wear contacts, but your contacts start going dry at the end of the day, and so I'm over here like, I'm trying to see over here. But yeah, Trevor says Tom Arnold and Austin Powers. Who does number 2 work for? It's also Carpool, where he's taking a piss. And Arnold is like, oh, there goes my record. It's a great shit in this movie. So, and then I like the scene where Tom Arnold, he's getting shot at by the guy. The totally unrealistic scene where the terrorist is shooting at him. He's hiding behind the light post, and amazingly enough, he doesn't get hit once. And then he checks his balls, his dick and balls, and he's like, "Oh man, my dick and balls are there." He blows a kiss, or gives him a kiss. Tom Arnold's pretty fucking funny in this, and So I was surprised by Tom Arnold. By all means, it's like, holy fucking shit! Like what? I did get the late great Charlton Heston's in this playing their boss. Schwarzenegger's and Tom Arnold's boss in this. Get a great chase through Washington D.C. with a motorcycle and a horse, and then you get the dynamic between Jamie Lee Curtis, and she's this bored housewife that's the only reason that Bill Paxton's used car salesman, even has a chance to nail her. And then later, you eventually find out, you finally realize, okay, yes, there's no way that she was going to, let Bill Paxton nail her, but she was tempted, right? But she was never going to actually go through with it. And then you get, I think the scene that I think all of us guys have played over and over again with Jamie Lee Curtis and her seduction scene, okay, where she's undercover, okay, and she's got to do her seduction scene where she essentially is seducing her very own husband, but she doesn't know that, right? And I think all of us guys, we've all played that scene over and over again. You guys know exactly what scene I'm talking about here. So, and that scene is one of those scenes where it's just something like that, where, I mean, who hasn't said this, you're like,
I have been so thirsty my entire life.
Yes, thirsty when you watch Jamie Lee Curtis do her grind in that scene right there. So, and I should get off that scene right there, because I'm starting to get hot. Oh yeah, I love it. So yes, and Trevor, she's there you go. She's got some bombs, all right. Yeah, she's never been lacking in that department right there. And we all saw that, right, for the very first time in Trading Places, right? So little did we know when we were watching her, in Halloween, and then she busts out the Mammary Mounds in Trading Places, and boy, I couldn't have been more thrilled. Yeah, there we go. No, I've watched her Trading Places scene way more. I wonder why. I can't imagine why. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. So she's funny in that movie as well. So, but actually, and you see her tits again in way later in her movie career in the Tailor of Panama. Okay, if I'm doing Mr. Skin's job here a little bit there by letting you know, like, hey, what's all the movies where you get to see Jamie Lee Curtis's tits? Okay, so she's very good, very erotic in that scene in True Lies. So just another great reason to watch True Lies. Okay, so and then that action scene at the end, where Arnold's flying a Harrier jet, he's got to save his daughter, and he just fucking annihilates that floor of that high rise in Miami. It just takes out all the baddies there. And then, of course, that's how he kills the main terrorist in True Lies, where the terrorist is connected to that Sidewinder or whatever it is, that missile, and he fires that missile is like, "You're fired," and he fires the missile, the rocket with the lead terrorist on it, fires it, and it basically hits the helicopter with the other terrorists in it. Like, just what a great closing, like what a great way to dispatch the baddies in True Lies right there. Just wrapping up all those bad guys like in just one fell swoop. You're like, yep, that should wrap it up for those evil fucking jihadists. Okay, those fucking Al-Qaeda, ISIS motherfuckers. Okay, so so True Lies, fantastic movie. So, yeah, but yeah, I mean, I remember watching, walking out of that theater in '94, watching in the theaters there, and I was still stationed in Japan, so it would have been a Japanese theater that I was walking out of, probably drinking a Sapporo, because you can get beer in a Japanese. Well, I know you can get beer in theaters now, but back in '94, you couldn't get a beer in a movie theater in America. No, you couldn't. But in Japan, you could. So they were way ahead of us in that regard. So there you go. But hey, you get beer in vending machines in Japan way back then. So I remember being stationed in Japan, you could get the weirdest shit in vending machines over there. So very weird. You like buy underwear in a vending machine, weird shit. So, but speaking of Japanese beer, I'm gonna take a tug off this bad boy before we get to numero uno. Oh yeah, something like the Kool-Aid guy right there. Hey, Kool-Aid. Oh yeah. All right, let me do a little refreshing over here on some chats and see what we got here before I move on to numero uno. And over in Pilled, man, they are not letting me have it. Okay, they are just taking it easy on me. Yeah, if you're in Pilled and you're watching, hey, don't be one of those lurkers. Okay, don't be watching and not chatting. And that goes for everyone in Rumble and YouTube watching. All right, so don't be shy, or they won't hurt you in live chat. Show some courage and some bravery and get in the live chat, and that's probably not enticing you to get in the live chat, because it seems like I'm making fun of you, which I am not. I'm pretty much just trying to guilt trip you in the live chat, and just at least saying hi or giving me a thumbs up in the live chat. But if you don't want to get in the live chat, again, don't get me wrong, I just appreciate you guys watching this live. That's fantastic. And then also, if you don't want, well, this is kind of a bad episode to use that as an example. But if you're ever watching, if you ever want to watch my spoiler warning episode, but you don't want the movie spoiled, feel free to watch the episode, but just have the volume off, okay? So it's not spoiled. And then after you watch the movie, then come back and watch the episode. But if you do that, if you watch the movie with the volume off, that still helps me out, because it still helps me out with what they call watch minutes when you're watching on Rumble and YouTube and Pilled. It just helps me with the algorithm and all that. And as you know, as you find out, if you're in the content creation game in YouTube and Rumble and Pilled in that world, you realize the algorithm is what it's all about there, unfortunately. So yes. Yeah. Trevor's like, you lost everyone at Titanic. So Trevor apparently is a massive fan of Titanic right there. It's a massive fan. And as far as he's concerned, that movie could hit the iceberg and never be heard from again, I guess. So don't tell me, Trevor, you're not a massive fan of Celine Dion in that song. I know it. I guarantee you probably drive around with a single tear going down your face while that Celine Dion lame ass song plays on your car stereo. I get it. I know it. You don't have to lie to us. Come on. I know. All right. So moving on to numero uno, right? Like everyone's like, thankfully moving on to numero uno. What could that be? Well, you might have heard of this movie recently, and it is, and this will probably get a reaction out of Trevor. The Abyss. Yes, The Abyss is my numero uno James Cameron movie, and I this is the movie, this is the pick here that I predict is going to get the most reaction. It's going to get the most what the fuck reactions out of everybody, okay? Because they're like, what do you think of James Cameron movies? Most people are like, okay, Terminator 2, The Terminator, Aliens, Avatar 2. And they're like, they're probably like, what? There's a movie I'm missing there. True Lies, what? Piranha 2. There's one with the Abyss is the movie that probably most people forget about the most. And also that what plays into that is the fact that it's like the least successful box office wise of all the movies, because it made actually more money than the Terminator did, but as you would imagine, the budget was higher for the Abyss, and so that's why it didn't make as much money. And then unfortunately the Abyss, it got its ass kicked, like I said before, by Batman and Ghostbusters 2 and Honey, I Shrunk the Fucking Kids and all that stuff. So yeah, right there. But yeah, I thought I would get the top of that kind of reaction. Started at the very bottom and came out on top. There we go. So yes, we are. I appreciate the very honest assessment of what Trevor thinks of the Abyss right there. But again, judging this off the emotional impact, okay, of this right there. And so if you're gonna make it a listing of your favorite James Cameron movies, and emotional impact doesn't mean zip to you, doesn't mean a fucking thing. If it's like more about just action or something like that, yeah, then the Abyss is not going to be number one, right? I mean, you're going to be Terminator 2 or Aliens is probably going to be at the fucking top of your list, or True Lies if we're talking about just pure fucking visceral action, right? But I'm rating these again just in terms of like what movie made me think about the movie the most for the longest time after I saw it in the theater. Okay, so and the Abyss, and just the performances, the emotional performances between Ed Harris and Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, and just the situations that they got into, and particularly the whole resuscitation scene, right, where Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio as Lindsey Brigman is basically in essence dead, and just the emotion in that scene. They're trying to revive her and that kind of thing, and her finally coming to, and everyone's like, yeah, right, finally, fucking, and then just also like the scene where Ed Harris is, he's dropping as deep as he possibly can to try to find that nuclear warhead before it detonates, okay, because it's going to go off after a while, right? So he's got to try to disarm it. And so by the time he gets down there, he disarms it. That scene where they're asking him, okay, hey, how much air do you have left to get back up to us? And he says, looks like I got like 5 minutes left or whatever. And they're like, holy shit, what the fuck? It took you like 37 minutes just to get down there. And at that point, you realize, oh, fuck, well, Ed Harris is a goner. Okay, he's dead. Okay. And so just that impact where everyone's like freaking out, like, you cut the weight. She's like, you cut the weight. You get up here. You can breathe shallow. You can get up here, that kind of thing. And they're like, nah, he's dead. He's a goner. And then, of course, the aliens get him and save the day here. But again, like I was saying before, because I don't want to get off that point here quite yet. But so that's the kind of stuff that I was walking, out of the theater. I went home, a couple days later on. It's like, yeah, that Abyss movie, fucking rocked, man. That movie's like I'm still thinking about that fucking movie, man. So that's why. And I did that the most with the Abyss out of all of James Cameron's movies, particularly the Avatar movies. Those Avatar movies, like they're cool to watch, but do I think about those fucking movies like 5 minutes after I watch it? Fuck no. I'm thinking about like what I'm having for supper, okay? Instead of thinking about some fucking Avatar movie. But the Abyss, yeah, that movie made an impact on me right there. So, okay, but when is he making? What is that? Akita or Alita 2? That there we go. Alita 2. There we go. Yeah, there because he produced that movie, and then Robert Rodriguez directed that one. Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that too. Maybe he'll direct that. Maybe he'll direct the sequel. There, you never know. Robert Rodriguez will helm that movie again, and James Cameron will produce it as well. So, but I mean, James Cameron there, man, he went like what 12 years without making a movie, something like that. So, because after Titanic, well, I should say a cinematic, like fictional movie, because he made Titanic in '97. Then we didn't see him again with a fictional cinematic movie, a narrative movie, until Avatar in 2009. Between that, he was making like documentaries, about deep sea shit, like Ghosts of the Abyss and Monsters of the Deep, or whatever the fuck those movies were. Those movies are fine. They're just not fictional narrative movies there. But yeah, but I think we're going to get more James Cameron movies more and more often because, now we're in the age of Avatar and the Avatar sequels, and he's talking about coming out with Avatar 3, and then a couple of years later coming out with Avatar 4, a couple of years later coming out with Avatar 5. And of course, that's all dependent on what kind of box office he gets out of those movies, because those movies cost a shit ton of money to make. And so if those movies don't make at least $1 billion each, well, you're probably not going to get your sequels greenlit. So that's why, that's why he was able to make Avatar 2, is because Avatar 1's made over $2 billion so far. And then Avatar 2, I think Avatar 2 is already up to $2 billion now. So those movies make fucking money. But for as much money as those movies make, do I fucking remember them 5 minutes afterwards? Fuck no. So not at all. But The Abyss, I do remember that one. And so The Abyss, yeah, that just made a big impact on me. And so yeah, it's check that out. I mean, again, like I said, they came out with the 4K special edition, and always watch the special edition. Don't watch the theatrical version of The Abyss. Okay, so and you're gonna get more bang for your buck because The Abyss is like 3 hours long. But also don't buy it on Laserdisc. I don't know if you can even buy it on Laserdisc anymore. Or if anybody even has a Laserdisc player anymore, don't buy it on Laserdisc or get a Laserdisc player, because you have to flip the Laserdisc in the middle of the fucking movie, and it's annoying as hell, okay, to do that. But yeah, like it or not, Trevor, that's been my list. That's my order, and those are my movies in my top 5 list, and that's the story, and I'm sticking to it. So all right, there you go. So that has been my top 5 James Cameron movies. There we go. Yes, I'm gonna take a bow. There we go. Take a bow. It's called, yeah, Trevor's like, it's called intermission there. So but yeah, hey, if you're watching this show later on, if you're not watching it live, get in the comments. Let me know what you think about my top 5 list there. Tell me if I'm smoking crack, or tell me if you've got my back with the list that I created, because you're like, wow, that's exactly what my list would be there, man. You're a genius. You're a fucking genius, man. What the hell? So yeah, let me know there, in the comments there. You could let me know there any time you want. Do I want to hear from you?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, exactly. So, all right. So what do we got next on the docket here in this episode? Well, I'll let you guys know the next movie I'm going to review that new Mark Wahlberg movie that's coming out this weekend called Arthur the King. I guess he's supposed to be like some, I don't know much about the movie. Sometimes that's the best way to go into a movie, right? Is not knowing shit about it. And so I think he plays like this racer of some kind, and he's trying to race across the country. I don't know, what is this, Cannonball Run or something? I don't know. But his cohort in the race, his sidekick is his dog called Arthur. And I guess the dog is Arthur the King in the title of the movie. And so that is all I know about this movie. Okay. So I'm going to go see that movie. So my spoiler-free review on this Sunday afternoon at 4 Eastern, 3 Central, 2 Mountain, and 1 Pacific will be all about the new Mark Wahlberg movie, Arthur the King. And then a week from now, Movies Merica spoiler warning will be spoilery. It'll be all spoiler-filled, all about Arthur the King. Okay, that's how we're going to roll next week. Okay. All right, let me check chats here, see if we got anybody chatting it up here. And Trevor, I'll tell you. Oh, he's coming with the comedy. Oh, he's coming with the comedy. I think he thinks I should binge some Tom Arnold movies just to refresh there. So, yeah, that's yeah. I know I couldn't have put it better myself. Yeah, I'm gonna get right on it. So yes, absolutely not going to do that whatsoever. So, all right. So, well, let's do this here. We're going to wrap up the show here and all that. But I just appreciate everyone watching, particularly Trevor, in this show. But even if you couldn't get in the live chat, I appreciate you guys watching the show here. And hey, recommend it to your friends, family, whatever. You know, if you know somebody that you even remotely suspect would like this show, send them the link, okay, to this show, or to, you know, send them the link, you know, to my Rumble page or the Pilled page or X page or, you know, YouTube, whatever, you know, if you think that they would like this show, okay? So, all right. So let's wrap this motherfucker up. What do you say here? And I'm going to wrap it up here first off by letting you know about www.moviesmerica.com. Now, why would you want to go there? Well, that's if you're nuts, if you're crazy, if you're psycho, and you want to if you want to listen to the audio only version of this show right here. So I thought I saw something on the back of my I'm going paranoid over here. Like, somebody behind me. The call is coming from inside the house. They're right there. Just seeing fucking shadows over here. I'm going fucking schizophrenic over here. But I was saying here. So yeah, www.moviesmerica.com. That's where you want to go if you just want to listen to the audio only versions of my spoiler-free reviews that I come out with every Sunday. I don't know why you'd want to just listen to them, but you could just like watch them and see this mug the whole time. But if you want to listen to the audio only versions, you can also listen to them on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, anywhere you can think of that has podcasts. Okay, you can check them out there. If you do listen to them on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, someplace like that, yeah, give me a 5-star rating if you would. That's five stars. Okay, if you would, that'd be fantastic. Now, I do have to warn you, though, the audio-only versions of my episodes, they are victims of my procrastination, okay? So because you can watch them live on Sunday afternoon, but the audio-only versions of them, a lot of times I get bit by the procrastination bug, and I don't get those suckers out until like Wednesday or Thursday, okay? I didn't like last week's episode about Dune Part 2. I didn't get that out until today. So it's in your best interest to watch the episodes on YouTube, Rumble, Pilled, Twitter, okay, or X. Watch them there, okay? So that's where you go. All right. So but if you're on moviesmerica.com, that's another place you can buy merch, Movies Merica merch. There's a link up at the top right there on moviesmerica.com. You can buy some merch there. So, all right. So moving on to where I'm at on the social medias. I'm on X. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Gab. On Rumble. Rumble's not really social media. But yeah, so you can find me on X and Instagram and Gab under @MoviesMerica. I'm also on Facebook. I have a Movies Merica page and group on Facebook as well. You can find me on Facebook under Van Ebert on Facebook, but it's basically all Movies Merica stuff on there as well. So, but yeah, follow me, subscribe to me, all at those locations there. Okay, so yeah, if you're liking the show, follow me there. And you know what? If I see you following me, I'll follow you back. Okay, so just DM me. That's probably good. That's probably the best way to get me to follow you is when you follow me, just get my DMs and say, hey, I just followed you. Follow me back, motherfucker. Because I do need to be nudged a little bit sometimes on some things. I need to be reminded, okay? I am not above needing that, okay? All right, moving on to tdpn.locals.com. And I talked about that a little earlier, so I'm not going to go overly overboard talking about that. But that's our website where we have our content about movies and entertainment and news and booze, alcohol, all that stuff. Check it out at tdpn.locals.com. If you put in promo code TDPN, you get 1 month free. All right. So, All right, and then moving on to the merch store. Yes, if you click on the merch store link down in the description, you can get yourself some Movies Merica merch, okay? Now, when you go to that merch store, you might have to scroll down quite a bit, or I think there is a search option in there. I think you could search and just type in Movies Merica, and it'll show you all the Movies Merica merch there. Otherwise, you have to search. You have to scroll way, way down on the page to get to my shit. Okay. But you can get, Movies Merica phone cases, shot glasses, yoga pants, anything you can think of that you'd want to have have a Movies Merica logo on. You can find it there. So check that out. The merch store link down there, okay? And they make awesome gifts, okay? So there you go. I can't exactly say Christmas is right around the corner, but hey, if you like to give for Easter, hey, there we go. Nothing says the resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ like Movies Merica merch. Okay, there we go. He has risen, and commemorate that by getting some Movies Merica merch. There we go. All right, and moving on to at Till Death Network, solo.to/Till Death Pod Network. Why would you want to go there? Well, that's the one-stop shop for going and finding all the links that have to do with the Till Death Podcast Network. Okay, all the shows that are on the Till Death Podcast Network, as I knock shit down over here. So yeah, because who wants to hunt and peck all over the internet for links, right? Just go to this location down there, and you'll find all the links there. There we go. All right, moving on here. Solo.to/Till Death Studios is our next destination that you may want to visit. Now, why would you want to go there? Well, if you're in the content creation game, if you like the live stream, like apparently I do, okay, and you want to, kind of fancy up your presentation. You want to have cool shit like the background that you see here, or the overlay up at the top. This is Movies Merica, or the intros that you saw at the beginning of the episode. If you want to have cool shit like that for your live stream or your whatever content you create, well, my man Ian is going to hook you up. But in order to get the ball rolling on that, you have to go to solo.to/Till Death Studios down there, okay? And he'll get the ball rolling on that for you, okay? So that's why you would want to go there, all right? And then we also have solo.to/I'm Sean Cav. And we have Sean here on the network. He's 50% of that crazy couple you see on the Whiskey Capitalist podcast every Monday and Wednesday, and then every other Tuesday they do shows about documentaries. Sean is one half of that the twin towers of that show. And so if you go to solo.to/I'm Sean Cav, it has all the links to all his content there. So he does his own show called Sipping with Sean every other Friday afternoon. And I bet dollars and donuts if you go to that location right there. That location right there. You'll find links to his Sipping with Sean show that he does. Okay. All right. And moving on to solo.to/The Whiskey Capitalist. And that's where you would go for all the links that have to do with that Whiskey Capitalist podcast show I was just talking about. And check out that. That'd be a great place to go to get the links to all the episodes for the Whiskey Capitalist podcast and all the associated content for that show. All right, and moving on. Last but certainly not least, solo.to/Till Death Podcast is where you would want to go if you want to find all the links that have to do with the flagship program or flagship show of the Till Death Podcast Network, the show that started it all, the Till Death Podcast, that you can find every other Saturday afternoon, okay? And that's a show that features Ian and his lovely wife, Jen, talking all types of current events, hot button topics of the day, and funny videos, all that stuff, all with that husband and wife perspective, okay? They lend their marital mirth to all of those topics right there for your entertainment pleasure, okay? So, and a great way, a great easy way to get the links or get a link to when those episodes will be on is to go to that solo.to. Let me try that again. Solo.to/till death podcast, everybody. So, yeah, that's why you'd want to go there, everybody. But I sense we are getting real close to wrapping up the episode here. But let me double check over here in Pilled. And hey, Agent X6, are you still with me over in Pilled there? You give me a live chat there. Let me know if you're still over there, or if anybody is over on Pilled live chatting right there, because I could release the scratching, which means I could release some gold pills, which again result in moolah with money. Okay, so and what I could do is, like I said, I do this thing called release the scratching. And what is that? Well, if you're in the live chat over on pill.net, when it releases scratching, it releases all these gold pills. Because remember, like how sometimes they have like those containers, where they put people in them and they blow the air everywhere, and they've got dollar bills flying everywhere, and you got to like try to grab as many dollar bills as you possibly can, right? As they're blowing all over the place. Well, releasing the scratching in Pilled is kind of like that. You're dropping all these gold pills on everybody, so for them to grab, okay, and they can grab as many as they like, okay. So and yeah. Trevor's like, this episode is about to hit the iceberg. Yeah, there we go. Hey, well, that's why I'm sitting here in the lifeboat. I'm ready. Okay, all right. And if anybody tries to kick me off, yeah, there we go. They're about to get shot. But I don't think anybody's over on the live chat on Pilled, so I'm not releasing the scratch, and I'm not going to release it for nobody over there. Fuck that. That'd be kind of pretty fucking stupid, right? So, all right. So, yeah, I think with that, before we hit that proverbial iceberg, like Trevor was talking about right there. Yeah, let me thank everybody, including Trevor, for watching this episode. Okay, and I hope Trevor joins me for this Sunday's spoiler-free review there. But if you can't join me for there, hey, you can watch the recording of that. And I hope to catch him and everybody. I hope everybody else joins next Thursday for my Movies Merica spoiler warning show, all about Arthur the King. But hey, like I said earlier, hey, if you don't want it spoiled, hey, just watch the episode with the volume off, okay? So, or just have it playing on some laptop in some back room somewhere with the volume off, okay? That just helps me out, okay? So I always appreciate that. And then also, yeah, like this episode if you want. Smash the fuck of that like button there, okay? And then hit that subscribe or follow buttons to follow and subscribe to my Movies Merica channel on whatever program, whatever outlet you're watching this show on, okay, or this episode on. That'd be fantastic. And then also, if you're watching this show not live, if you're watching the recording, then yeah, get in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of this episode. That'd be fantastic. Let me know if you think my top 5 James Cameron list is fucking asinine. Let me know, everybody. Okay, so I need to hear from people. Okay. All right. So, well, that'll get people dropping off the show there too. But hey, you know what? Hey, the show's about to be over with anyway. So, all right. Hey, so with that, people, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya.
Hey, everybody! Hey! I got the police after me. They're coming after me, okay? But I got just enough time to ask you. Just like this video, if you would, and then subscribe to this channel, okay? I'm gonna be in handcuffs pretty soon. I gotta tell you. And so before they haul me off, make sure you watch these videos over here, okay? And thanks for watching this video and the Till Death Podcast Network, okay? I gotta go.